In 18th century Florida, there was always the threat of invasion or of Spanish ships being harassed by pirates. Everyone knows about the Castillo de San Marcos and its importance to the colony, but located a few miles south lies another, equally important location to the protection of the Spanish colony. Let's bring the past into the present with Fort Matanzas. As early as 1569, the Spanish noticed the importance of the small jut of land known as Matanzas Inlet. A wooden watchtower and a small hut big enough for 6 soldiers was established on the land in an attempt to guard St. Augustine's back door. The location proved its effectiveness early on in 1683 and 1686, when pirates attempted to capture the watchtower and attack the city of St. Augustine from the south. Word reached the Spanish at the Castillo de San Marcos, and the invaders were forced to retreat. In 1740, this location again proved crucial, as Georgia Governor Oglethorpe led an army to siege the city of St. Augustine. Its governor, Manuel de Montiano, was able to send a shallow draft vessel down through the waterway of Matanzas Inlet to request aid from the Spanish forces in Cuba. The courier returned with a Spanish fleet in tow that anchored in present-day Ponce Inlet. This fleet helped lift the siege and save the city. In 1763, the British finally took over Florida via the Treaty of Paris. They didn't do much to improve Fort Matanzas, but also suffered the same fears with enemy ships sailing up the Matanzas River. This period was relatively quiet though, and in 1783, Florida was once again turned back over to the Spanish. There was another period of quiet until 1821, when the United States purchased Florida. The fort was in rough shape, and an army inspector said that the fort served no purpose but for historical value, and so there it sat. But then came the revival. In the late 19th century, Henry Flagler, railroad tycoon and former partner to Standard Oil, began to develop St. Augustine. By building his hotel, the Ponce de Leon, now the main building for Flagler College, and his railroad line stretching to Key West, tourism in northeast Florida grew. So did visitations to the Castillo de San Marcos and Fort Matanzas. In 1916, Congress gave the fort a little over $1,000 for refurbishments. 8 years later, Eugene Johnson of Summerhaven was allowed to stabilize the foundation of the fort by spreading out oyster shells. On October 15, 1924, President Coolidge named it a national monument. Through the late 1920s, the sentry box, gun deck, and lower walls were all restored and rebuilt. So the unique aspect of this fort is that it's only accessible by boat. You board a small ferry on the mainland, and after a roughly 10-minute trip, you arrive on what's called Rattlesnake Island. You're given an hour to walk the grounds, inspect the living quarters, and by a narrow, vertical staircase, travel to the open-air top deck to see the surrounding area. It is truly breathtaking, and it is easy to see yourself looking for enemy ships on the horizon. It is places like this, small, not much of a historical impact, but important to the larger story, that needs to be protected. This is why we bring the past into the present. If you enjoyed this video or want to see more like it, check out my YouTube page. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well. And also follow me on Twitter at PastAndPresent4. Thanks for watching.